Super excited to take you along for this fall refresh. I've never done one before. I have a vision in my mind and I'm really hoping I can bring it to life and share it with you, and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. I'm going to update this garden bed next to me as well as the front porch. As you can see, these marigolds are popping. They are beautiful and they have bloomed so nicely all summer. But it's just time for a new look. I love fall. I love the dark colors, the purple, the burgundy, and I just want to feel that when I walk into the house. I'm going to transplant the marigolds because they bloom until first frost, so I still have another couple of weeks with them. Even though I'm ready to update the area and I've been looking at this all summer, I can add the color that these give to other places in the front yard. You can see all of this space really behind me, but I'm going to take you around and tell you what my plans are, and then we can get started. Hi, I'm Michelle and I do DIY inside and out. I have some begonias here. These are the marigolds. The ones on the right thrived really well. Bunnies ate this side when they were small. Bunnies don't typically eat marigolds, so some of them did come back. I had no idea marigolds got this large. I would not plant them here again. And you can see I have encore azaleas, which are visible on this side, but again, they overtook here. So I need to move it anyway because I don't want fungus growing because there's lack of airflow. We do have a feral cat that likes to lay in here. And you can see that there are begonias hiding on this side as well. Somehow light has gotten to them and they are popping their heads up. So I'm going to take out all the marigolds on both sides. I'm going to plant the asters along the front yard. And then the planters, I'm going to add marigolds to them and they're going to be on the steps. Usually you do things in odd numbers, so threes, but the third thing is going to be something Halloween related. I want these to be black, so the first thing I'm going to do is start with spray painting, so while it dries, I can be working on getting those marigolds out of the ground. Make sure you use whatever style pots you want or like. Some people love the symmetry. I love asymmetry and mixing different textures and styles, even though I'm going to paint them both black. And they have a similar concrete texture. You get what I mean. These are the supplies I'm going to use to paint this. I'm going to sand this, even though it's already a little textured. I want the paint to adhere as best as possible, especially because this is going to be sitting outside. So this is 120 grit. I think 150 would be fine. I just pulled what I had. This is used, obviously, as you can see. And I'm going to go around with both pots and just lightly sand very quickly. And this is a tack cloth. You use this after sanding to get rid of any sanding dust so that the paint is adhering to the material, but also so that you don't have the dust particles in your paint. This is the dust that I got off after sanding. I'm going to start with spraying the bottom first. And the reason for that is because if I spray the top, to get to the bottom will be awkward. I won't have the ability to tip this over if the paint is wet. This is a flat black primer that I'm going to use first, and then I'll follow up with a black satin spray paint. And this is Rust-Oleum and it's for outdoor use. I wasn't sure if these marigolds were going to be easy or not to get out, but it makes sense that they have very short root systems since they're annuals and only last for a year. So they came up super easy, and I'll show you what the roots look like in just a bit. I'm also doing my best to clean up any little weeds that I see along the way. It makes it feel so much less daunting pulling the weeds as I go versus doing it all at the end. And then I cleaned up these marigolds. And one thing I have to tell you, I was not expecting them to be so large. And I know that might not make sense because, hello, they look large and they overtook a garden bed over here. But I really thought that there were multiple marigolds and not just one huge bush. And this is what I'm left with. I was unsure if I wanted to keep the begonias because they're more like spring and bright. And I told you I love the dark, but I haven't been able to enjoy them. So I think I'm keeping them. They're so pretty. I'm going to enjoy them. Look at this mound. I absolutely love the way that these turned out. Love it. I love the texture on this large one. I typically drill drainage holes from the outside, but this says drill a 1/4 to 1/2 inch hole from outside for drainage. The label says to drill a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch hole. I didn't manufacture this product, obviously, but that doesn't seem right to me, so I'm doing 1 1/4 inch. I'm using a Forstner bit to get this done. Super easy to use. The way I'm twirling the drill here, though, you really don't need to do that. Just steady pressure, holding it downward. The reason why I'm tilting the drill is to kind of hurry up and score the area. So I did it lightly and then I used it the correct way. Something to keep in mind. Not all the way in the center, but close enough. I'm adding stones here mainly to help weigh the pot down so it does not fly off the stairs. I don't want to make it too heavy because the soil is also going to make it heavy. And when I'm putting the stone in, I'm making sure that I'm not completely covering the drainage hole. It looks like I am here, but I am propping up the stone on top of each other so that there'll still be good drainage. If you want to use less soil, you can add plastic containers like soda bottles or juice bottles. I've seen people also use foam. I don't know how foam does with constant moisture, so sounds like a mold situation waiting to happen. Look into that. I figure I just bought this Miracle Grow. It's for raised bed soil and it includes all the compost, peat moss. So that's all you really have to add to the pot. I spilled so much, but I did pick it up because I needed to save every drop of soil. Probably try to get a little more soil in here typically. And I also need to like shake it up and let it settle. I'm not doing all that. That's all I got. I'm not going back to the store. So I'm trying to think, how am I going to position this on the stairs? So the small one will not fit on a stair tread, not tread. Yes, the stair tread. So it's going to go on the top and then I'm going to have orange pumpkin and then the yellow one will be below. So I think in this small one, I'm going to do there's a mixed marigold here, this one, this one in the small, and then I'll mix the orange and yellow together in the tall pot. So many to go around. These are what the roots look like. I promised to show you this earlier. I will be the first to admit that I am new to gardening and I learned so much doing this project. Some things seem pretty straightforward, like pulling marigolds out the ground and putting them in planters. What I didn't realize is that they were probably supporting each other so they looked upright and nice and bushy. But now that I've taken them out the ground, they just keep flopping over. They're not happy. I thought maybe I could have or I should have waited until they dried out. It's been raining for days with the hurricane in the south. We're getting rainfall in the north. I don't know if that had something to do with it, or maybe this is just the type of plant that you can't really do this too well. As you can see, the smaller ones worked out okay. Let me just try. Think. I started pulling off some of the sagging branches, thinking that maybe that's the reason why the marigold is flopping over, and that clearly was not the case. It's falling off. Wow. Oh, why are you doing this to me? I even had the idea that I would stake this up, make it look bushy. First of all, I'm just using a stick. I can't find my stakes. I actually have a few. I have no idea where they are. And again, spoiler alert, it did not work out. So I just switched gears and decided to use another small yellow marigold that I had because the orange ones just were not working out. And I was going to use what I had. And my method was to step back, take a look, and make sure the pretty side was facing outward. Even though I ran into a hiccup, that wasn't difficult and didn't take a long time. So moving right along, I'm going to plant these Chinese asters and continue cleaning up this garden bed. I have so much wild onion, which I absolutely hate. It can be tough to get out, or it's not tough to get out. You want to make sure you get those onion bulbs. I have these Chinese asters, they're annuals, and there's 3 in a pot, and I have one other pot, and it was like 2 for 12 or 2 for 10 on sale. So I'm going to put them at the start of the strip here. So I'm going to move those begonias a bit. I've said it before, I don't like every other planting, but I think that's what I'm going to go with because I think this is really pretty together. Ideally, when you separate plants in a pot, you want to use a shovel, a knife, something sharp. I'm just using my hands because they were separated far enough, and I think they'll do okay, and I'm not traumatizing the roots too much. I'm really happy with the way this took shape. It looks really simple right now because the plants are still young, but once they start to bloom and grow, I think it'll fill in really nicely. I didn't realize, but the Chinese aster also gets pretty large, so we'll just see how it goes and I'll keep learning along the way. I thought I was done, but I'm not because these marigolds have wilted over the course of 2 days. Let me show them to you. I'm so salty. Granted, I have not taken off the dead ones. They're just not as happy as they were. And then this one is even worse. So I ran to the store and I got these. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a hopeless romantic with these marigolds. I'm still picking and seeing like, oh, these are so pretty. There are not too many bad ones, and I'm gonna try to reuse them. And it's like, give it up, girl. I decided on a boxwood because they're slow growing, and I'm just gonna try to keep it small, and they can be trimmed however you like. I want to put it in the back for like constant green. I'm gonna put this to the side. This is a perennial. This in the back. And then a pop of color, the white mum here. So this. That's my idea. I think I'm gonna love it. And then these will all go in here. Easy peasy. Let's do it. I'm trying to break up this root ball as much as possible, but it's so compacted. So it's staying just like that. I'm going to make sure it has enough soil around it. For some reason, I am still here struggling with this marigold and it just does not work. First of all, they're all going to get too large, so it has to go. There's no way of making that work. So I just rearranged these in a way that I liked it, and that was it. And this is how it turned out. I'm super happy with it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you again.